Hey guys, in this video, I want to show you how to find the size of an angle given a couple of side lengths in a right triangle. So in this process, we're going to be doing three things. First, we're going to identify the reference angle. Then we're going to label the sides. And finally, we'll pick the trig ratio to do the math with. So let's take a look at our example. In our example, it says find the size of angle A. Okay, so let's go ahead and identify the reference angle on our paper. We will circle angle A. And it says in triangle ABC where angle ABC, which is angle B, is the 90-degree angle. So here's the 90-degree angle. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to label the sides and we'll pick a trig ratio. So we're going to pick two of the sides out, and we can pick any of the three sides that we want. And I'm going to stick with 3, and 5. So I'm going to label the sides. The 3 is across from the reference angle, and that's going to be opposite. And the 5 is going to be the diagonal, so that's going to be the hypotenuse. Okay, now I could have just as easily picked the 4 and the 5, the 3 and the 4, whatever I wanted to pick, but this is what I decided on. So when I'm thinking about trig ratios and I think about sine, cosine, and tangent, I know that the sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. And so I'm going to be using sine. So I would say sine of A is equal to the opposite. In our case, the opposite side length is 3, and the hypotenuse is 5. So I'm looking for an angle, and when I'm looking for an angle, I'm going to be using that inverse trig. So I can say that angle A is equal to the inverse sine of that fraction 3 over 5. Let's see if I can show you that here on this. Now, when I'm doing trig, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the degree is on. So it says degree up here. If I don't see that, then I'm going to go to mode and I'll come down to the third row and then I'll select degree. And that's what I would use. So I'm going to press second and mode, which is that quit, to bring me back out here. So again, I'm going to be using inverse sine. Inverse sine is right above the sine button in blue. So I'm going to press that second button and then sine, which is the inverse sine. And I'm going to put in there 3 over 5. Press enter. I'm going to round that number to 3 significant figures, giving me 36.9. 36.9. So A equals 36.9 degrees. Now, before I let you go on this example, notice that I did have all three sides. So I could have just as easily used the 4. 4 in this case would be the adjacent. So I could have used the adjacent and the hypotenuse, which would have given me the cosine. So I could have done the inverse cosine of 4 over 5, and I would have gotten the same thing. I could have also done the inverse tangent, and the inverse tangent is for the opposite, which is 3, over the adjacent, which is 4. So I would have 3 over 4, enter, and I get the same thing again. So one more time, when you go through this, start off by identifying the reference angle. Once you have that reference angle, label the side lengths, and then finally pick the appropriate trig ratio and do the math. That's going to do it on this example. If you have any questions, please let me know.